Hello and welcome back. Today we're taking a look at an episode from Netflix's new show, Bill Nye Saves the World. It's called The Sexual Spectrum. While a lot of people have already covered the horrible music number at the end of this episode,
my vagina has its own voice,
which we'll get to eventually. Today I want to go over some other troubling parts about this video, because it's not just the song that's a problem here. The presentation, the message, hell, the whole idea for the show is in question. Let me explain. For starters, the first issue is the whole concept of the show to begin with. The idea seems to be, let's cash in on the nostalgia of people who watched Bill Nye the Science Guy as kids in the 90s. There's no getting around that, and the TV studios have been doing way too many of these nostalgic revival shows lately. Full House, X-Files, MacGyver, Lethal Weapon, Training Day, Friday the 13th. It never seems to end, and I wouldn't have a problem if the shows were done well, or at least brought something new to the table, but seems like they're mostly lower budget knockoff TV shows, made to exploit people's fond memories of the original works. Back to Bill Nye Saves the World. Well, there's nothing new or groundbreaking being done in this new revival show either. In fact, Bill Nye Saves the World pales in comparison to the original show. And it's not just nostalgia blinders that's making me say this, guys. I promise. This new show is lower quality in every way across the board, as you will see. Lower production quality, lower writing quality, and worst of all, they've really lowered their standards for what's scientific. That brings us to today's topic, the sexual spectrum. I'll let Bill try and explain.
These are human chromosomes. They contain all the genes you need to make a person. This one is called an X chromosome, and that one down there, wait. That's a Y chromosome. They're sex chromosomes. Females usually have two X's, and males generally have an X and a Y. But it turns out...
No, but it turns out, Bill. And this isn't a usually or generally kind of thing. Over 99% of the time, human females have two X chromosomes, and males have X and Y. I know where this is going, so I'll go ahead and say it. I'm sick of people overinflating the amounts of gay and transgender people in the population. And I have nothing against the people, don't get me wrong. I'm just sick of this overly gay, overly pro-trans narrative being pushed everywhere. Everywhere that toes the line with the liberal SJW PC crowd. It's gotten beyond annoying and is verging into unsettling and disturbing places.
About 1 in every 400 pregnancies has a different number of sex chromosomes. Some people only have 1 sex chromosome. Some people have 3, 4, or even 5 sex chromosomes. For me, sometimes I feel I have a lot.
So thanks for proving my point there, Bill. 1 in 400 is nothing. That's only 0.25% of people who are born the wrong gender, or no gender, whatever the issue. And it is an issue. Being born the wrong gender is a problem. It is a defect. But they're only 0.25% of the population. Now, I'm not saying these people don't matter. Of course they do, and they deserve to be heard and all that, but the way pro-gay and pro-trans shit is all over the internet nowadays, you would think half the fucking country is transgendered. They're not. And I dare to say this isn't a good topic for Bill's new show. The sexual spectrum isn't science. This is Bill and Netflix trying to chime in on a trendy topic, which is what I'm doing as well. Don't worry, the irony here isn't beyond me.
But using science, we know that sex in every aspect of human sexuality is, well, it's a little complicated.
God, even the new theme song is shittier, and it just screams, I'm desperate to be cool and hip again. Here's a black guy singing my theme song. I'm down.
Welcome to the show. I'm Bill Nye, and I'm here to, dare I say it, save the world.
Wow, looks like they got a whole 40 people to show up for this.
The world is a wonderfully diverse place, and as scientists, we use the scientific method to try and understand that diversity. This is what is happening with the study of human sex and sexuality.
I'm gonna stop you again right there, Bill. Calling yourself a scientist is being pretty generous to say the least. You're a comedian, a performer who has a bachelor's degree in engineering, which is nothing to scoff at, but that doesn't make you a scientist. You aren't and have never practiced science in any professional sense. You're about as much a scientist as Dr. Phil is a doctor.
Now, as you can see, this is a pretty complicated machine. So I'm gonna ask for a little help with that, and who better to talk about sex than two cis male white guys? Derek Muller Derek, it's good to see you.
It's good to see you, Bill.
Well, looks like Veritasium showed up just in time for the cisgender definition. And this is also where I lose all hope for this show. Anyone who uses the word cis is either an SJW whack job, or there's someone who is trying to pander to them. As much as I liked his original show, this new Bill Nye seems to be lost.
I see you have the...
Pointer of sex.
Of sex. A version of it. If I'm going too fast for you, let me know. The first aspect of sexuality is...
You see how uncomfortable this new show is? Cringy laughing, Bill awkwardly trying to be energetic and funny. It's extremely unnerving. The original show had multiple sets, fast cuts, graphics, locations, various shots, angles, and even music videos at the end.
Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Brought to you by the Double Helix Corporation.
DNA is made of just 4 main chemicals. Take a look at this.
The new show is cheaply shot all in one rinky-dink studio location with minimal cuts and 1 or 2 cameras. It's a dumbed-down version of the original show, which is ironic because the original show was for kids, while the new one is for the same kids who are grown-ups now.
Korean pop culture has really transformed a lot of the traditional ideas of what's acceptable. But I think one of the reasons why K-pop acts can get away with sort of bending the rules or perhaps even breaking stereotypes is that they pull it off with so much confidence that it doesn't feel weird, it just feels like, hey.
So now we jump to Veritasium on location in Korea. And to be honest, listening to this K-pop weirdo talk, I feel the same way Veritasium looks. He looks squinty. He's looking down on this creeper, raising his upper lip in disgust. But that's not what he's gonna say. Just watch.
Although Korean culture remains quite conservative regarding alternative lifestyles, the rise of K-pop has empowered a new generation to express ideas across a broad spectrum of identities.
At this point, we've completely left the realm of science. Now we're talking about weird, creepy, androgynous Koreans. Why? Because this proves gender is on a spectrum, right? Not really. People have been going trans and andro like crazy here in the States too lately. This still doesn't change the fact that there are only 2 genders. There's just more trans trenders.
But yeah, you know, I talked to as many people as I could, and clearly the vibe was that things are changing and that K-pop is leading the way.
Are people accepting it, or is it like we have, you know, some very conservative people here in the United States that would rather it never got accepted?
I think that there's always going to be a conservative kind of backlash to progress.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Who said this was progress, buddy? And conservatives don't always have a backlash to progress. Perhaps they're more likely to be traditional, but that doesn't mean they buck progress. That's a totally liberal SJW way to look at this. You guys gone and fucked up leaving this in your episode. You could tell it was a hard place for them to edit it too, because the way they cut off Bill here was pretty shaky.
We have, you know, some very conservative people here in the United States that would rather it never got accepted.
I think that there's always...
Would rather it never got accepted.
He's probably saying something more political, more anti-conservative, but the show decided to cut out to try and save face. But even that failed. This is not progress, guys. This is just more and more people becoming trans trenders. It's hip and cool to be bi or trans nowadays. People see all the attention and bonus points gay people get, so they're jumping in on the bandwagon too.
Luckily, we brought along some experts.
So his experts on the sexual spectrum are a gay black comedian, a gay black gender studies professor, and a blonde anthropologist. Wow, at least on Bill Maher's panel he tries to bring on someone with an opposing opinion. It doesn't really matter much. This whole panel section doesn't have much to say anyway, so let's skip to the next segment.
We are, of course, enlightened and forward-thinking, but not everyone sees it this way. But there are lots of flavors to sexuality.
Right, why are we here, Vanilla?
Damn!
Oh, this again? Come on!
Chillax, Strobs!
Now we've got this super weird cartoon that basically portrays white people as controlling assholes who try to make other races be just like them.
Settle, everybody. Settle. Now, I've spoken to some of you about my theories on the nature of being ice cream.
Which have no basis in science.
It's the science of feeling. And as vanilla, I feel that I am the most natural of the ice creams, and therefore the rest of you should just go ahead and also be vanilla.
They use vanilla to represent whites and chocolates as blacks and so on. This just seems really out of place from the beginning. How did this episode about the sexual spectrum turn into an anti-white thing? Why is race even involved? They awkwardly squeeze sexual preferences into the cartoon a few beats later, but it just doesn't make sense.
Hold me, salted caramel.
I just think if you want to get right with the big ice cream in the sky, change your flavor by wishing to be vanilla.
White people aren't telling other races to be and act like them, and straight people aren't doing that to gays. If anything, I would say people in the media are telling people to be more gay and trans. And if you think straight white people are the regular norm or default, it's not because we're Nazis shoving it down your throat. It's probably because you live in America and most people here are white and straight. And guess what? There's nothing fucking wrong with that. Now for their finale of bullshit.
Give it up for Rachel Bloom.
This one goes out to all my bipeds who identify as ladies. This world of ours is full of choice, but must I choose between only John or Joyce? All my options only hard or moist. My vagina has its own voice.
This sex junk song is just horrible. It's not funny or catchy or good in any way at all. This Rachel Bloom bitch sounds like she's trying to be the next Amy Schumer or something. My vagina, my vagina. No one cares about your gross vagina, lady.
Not vocal cords or metaphorical voice. Sometimes I do a voice for my vagina. Please don't tell me I'm the only one who does that. 'Cause my sex junk is so
In the end, Netflix's new show is gonna flop if you ask me. It's already soiled the memories I had of Bill's really great show. Bill Nye the Science Guy was the shit, and it still holds up today if you ask me. If you really want to get your Bill Nye fix, just watch one of his old episodes. Because Bill Nye Saves the World really misses the mark. They've tried to mix science with social justice and they've failed miserably. What do you guys think? Is sexuality on a spectrum? Is having more trans and androgynous people progress? Comment below and thanks for watching No Bullshit. See y'all next time.
Be on no bullshit, yeah. I be on no bullshit, yeah.